welcome to the Just in Time podcast. I'm your host, Justin Shute, and this is episode 20. Let's give it a hand for that real quick. We have some good college football going on this past weekend, including two SEC head coaches getting fired in the process. That's pretty crazy to say. We're not even at the end of November, and we got two SEC head coaches fired just from this weekend alone. College football is still ramping up, and we are in the final 2-week stretch of the regular season with college championship and bowl season rapidly approaching. So that's some pretty fun news. We've got some news about Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. We got some NBA talk with an update on the Los Angeles Clippers and the Philadelphia 76ers, how they both have looked after the James Harden trade. I want to talk about some of the other teams in the NBA and how they look after a few weeks into the regular season with the in-season tournament underway. We'll conclude the video talking about some NFL and potential threats of the Buffalo Bills not making the playoffs this year in the AFC. This is the Just in Time podcast. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends and family. And have them subscribe as well because it's free to subscribe and it helps me out, doing that in the process. So please subscribe to the channel. Also, shout out to the producer and editor of the Just in Time podcast, Mary Shute, for her help in making this channel successful. Now, we're going to jump right on into college football Week 11 recaps and Week 12 previews. And to start this video off, I want to talk about Texas A&M firing Jimbo Fisher. That was our head coach of the Texas A&M Aggies for over the past 6 years. Some breaking news hit the phone on Sunday morning. Head coach for the Texas A&M Aggies, Jimbo Fisher, was fired. And this was something that I expected to happen with the Aggies having 4 losses before the season was over, but I didn't anticipate happening at this time. This is something I felt that it was needed to happen at Texas A&M. The Aggies have an arguably, top 5 roster in college football. They have the money, they have the resources, they have everything you need to win and compete in the SEC. The problem was Jimbo and the culture that was established at A&M. And I think that, with the right head coach being hired at A&M, you could turn that program, into a very successful one in a year or two. Interim head coach for the rest of the year is going to be Elijah Robinson. So we'll see what he looks like in the last, few stretch of the weeks. For the next few weeks, this topic will be a hot one amongst, sports fans and talk shows about, who will be the, next head coach for the Texas A&M Aggies. And, what I got to say about it, this is an elite type job. One of the premier schools in college football, I would just say, just based off money and how much they're willing to put into this head coaching position right here. And like I said, they already have a top 5 roster in college football. They've been mismanaged, and I think with the right head coach coming in, they could really turn that program around. They have not won a conference championship in their time in the SEC, nor have they been to a conference championship game. A&M has not won a national title since 1939. They've had some bright spots in the program with Johnny Manziel winning the Heisman and putting Myles Garrett number 1 overall in the 2017 NFL draft. But again, arguably a top 5 roster in college football, you're going to expect not to have 4 losses by the season's end. Injuries have hurt this team in this season, but it's been multiple seasons, and this has continuously happened where A&M is just underperformed. So this is a new era for A&M. Jimbo's fired. Crazy buyout. I mean, you're getting paid $70+ million to get fired. Is sign me up if that's the case. But we're gonna find out in the next couple weeks what A&M is thinking of head coaching wise for new appointment. So we'll see. Moving on to Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers. He could potentially return to Texas next season, which is some huge news. Sources tell Pete Thamel on X, formerly Twitter. Texas quarterback Quinn Ewers has yet to decide on whether he should declare for the NFL draft. There's been early conversations about a potential return to Texas, but there's a long way to go. Ewers has been viewed since high school as a 3-and-done, but he left high school early and has only played 2 years. An NFL decision will be made for weeks. So, this was something I would have not thought about as a Texas fan this year, really. Haven't given it much thought at all. He's had a pretty good year as the Longhorns, and, I think he would still find a way to be drafted in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft if he decided to come out this year. There's been huge speculation about Ewers staying at Texas next season, and I am opposed to that idea personally. I think Texas will be moving to the SEC and will have an impressively competitive season next year. They're going to be going at Michigan, Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Florida all lined up on their schedule in 2024. With star running back Jonathan Brooks out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, he's looking to return to Texas in 2024 with the jump to the SEC. Texas will have its entire offensive line return with the exception of Christian Jones. I think Quinn returning would be huge for himself, his draft stock, and our team outlook next season. I think Quinn could be quarterback 1 or quarterback 2 next year, with Shedeur Sanders also getting looks at the top quarterback in 2024 2025 NFL draft. I think if Quinn can succeed with the difficult schedule next season and in the SEC, that will only benefit his draft stock. So, what I think about it, Quinn Ewers coming back, I think that could be very bright for Texas. You're going to a next year's season where, you know, up until this point, I would have thought it was going to be Malik or Arch taking over at quarterback next year. And it was going to be, a hard year either way because we're going to be playing at Michigan week 2, who's been a top 5 team all year long, still undefeated up to this point. We're going to have to play Georgia at around week 7 or 8 or something like that. We get them at Texas, but, that's the back-to-back champs. They haven't lost a game in a very long time. We're going to get the rivalry back with A&M. We're going to get Oklahoma, and Florida's a pretty good team too. So a lot of good talent. We're going to play next year, and making that jump to the SEC. It's a tougher conference than the Big 12. So there's going to be some hiccups and stuff, but you're bringing back your star quarterback. You're bringing back your offensive line, and Jonathan Brooks has been probably one of the most productive players on this team this season. I think that's very bright for Texas. They could look to, have a strong next year instead of, us calling it a down season. It could really be, we're competing for a playoff spot right now, and next year we're going to be doing the same thing. Hopefully, winning a championship in the SEC. So, yeah, I like that scenario for the Longhorns. I think the odd man out would be Malik Murphy in this scenario. I believe that Arch Manning will look to sit another season behind Ewers and look to get backup reps whenever possible for the Longhorns. He has a lot of 5-star talent committed to the Longhorns because of him, and he committed a UT for Sark and quarterback development. And I would not buy in on any of the rumors of Arch wanting to transfer out. I believe his uncle Archie just he had a meeting or something like that, the past few days, and he reported that they committed to Texas for a reason, and Arch is happy where he's at. And I think Malik would, likely be the transfer candidate out, and he's going to receive a lot of interest. And I think Archie also pointed out that with Eli Manning, who is Arch's uncle, and Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl champion, he beat Brady in the Super Bowl. He played for the Giants as a quarterback. Eli, I think he redshirted his freshman year, and sophomore year he didn't even play. He was a backup or something like that. So he didn't even get any substantial playing time until his junior season. And you could be potentially seeing that, same scenario happen with Arch Manning. So just something to keep an eye on. And as a Texas fan, I'm pretty excited. But, decisions yet to be made. So we'll see what Quinn Ewers decides in the next upcoming weeks. And, hopefully the Longhorns can keep on winning games. They can beat Iowa State this week. They can beat Texas Tech the following week, and we'll prepare for the Big 12 championship, where hopefully they win that game, and we do everything we can to put ourselves in conversations for that college football playoff spot. And we're going to have a quick sponsorship shout out. We're going to shout out LoveLee Creations by Jen. LoveLee Creations by Jen creates beautiful, one-of-a-kind wreaths and arrangements for all seasons. Unique designs using old lassos, antlers, antique containers, repurposed wood, and more. Owner and creator Jennifer McFall loves custom orders. You can let her bring your vision to life, or you can create a beautiful and unique gift for somebody special. You can follow LoveLee Creations by Jen on Facebook and Instagram to see all of her items and what's available for purchase. If you mention the Just in Time podcast, and you will be able to receive $10 off any purchase or custom order. Shipping and local delivery is available on all purchases. You can welcome friends and family into your home with an inviting wreath or add a pretty arrangement to your dining table created by LoveLee Creations by Jen. You can catch LoveLee Creations by Jen at the Christmas market on November 17th from 10:30 to 6:30 p.m. located at 111 North Hazard Boulevard in Bashville, Texas. Can't make it to that event? Don't you even worry. On November 19th, you can catch LoveLee Creations by Jen at the Sip and Shop Christmas Market from 10 to 4. This will be located at the Silos on 77 in Giddings, Texas. Can't make it to that event either? Don't even worry about it. LoveLee Creations will be at the Rockney Market Days located at Haltman Hall and Parish Hall on November 25th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The address for that event is 4045 FM 535 in Rockney, Texas. 3 events coming up where you can catch LoveLee Creations by Jen live, and if you mention the Just in Time podcast, you'll be sure to receive a special discount. You can visit and shop for LoveLee Creations by Jen today. Now we're going to move back to college football. We're going to wrap up this portion of the video. We're going to talk about, kind of a few recaps from last week. Biggest game of the week was Michigan. Michigan went and defeated Penn State 24-15. Penn State offensive coordinator was fired after failing to effectively score against Michigan. Michigan did not attempt a single pass in the second half of the game. So, Michigan ran all over Penn State. Penn State wasn't able to do anything, and literally Michigan didn't even have to throw the football once in the second half. So Michigan dominated Penn State, and Penn State's a very talented team. They have a championship caliber defense, but unfortunately they lost to Michigan and they lost to Ohio State. So when they look back on the season, it's just a lot of it's a lot of what if for them. Georgia defeated Ole Miss 52-17. Brock Bowers returns from an ankle injury, and Georgia dominates. Georgia should be number 1 until further notice, and Georgia is number 1 according to the new AP poll that was posted today. Georgia's dominant, and until they lose, they should be number 1. That's it. They should just be number 1. Washington defeats Utah 35-28. Washington's clutch defense at the end of the game notches their 10th win on the year as they remain undefeated. They take on Oregon State next week in a great matchup. So, Washington defeated a tough Utah team by a touchdown. They came up with a clutch interception at the end of the game to seal the deal. And, they still remain undefeated. I think they're 4th or 5th in the college football playoff rankings today, or the AP poll for sure. But, Washington takes on number 10 Oregon State this week in a great matchup. I believe Josh Pate is going to that game. So any game he goes to is automatically going to be a classic. So, all eyes on that game for sure. As a Texas fan, I'm selfishly, hoping that Washington loses so we have a chance to make ourselves in for a bid. So, Texas defeat TCU 29-26. Texas hangs on late and moves to 9-1 on the year, where they will take on Iowa State next week. This was a crazy game. So first half, it was really a tale of two halves because first half was pretty dominant by the Longhorns. I think it was 26-6 heading into halftime, and then the second half, it's just an ugly stretch where the Longhorns give up points, and Jonathan Brooks goes out with a torn ACL, so he's out for the rest of the season. That's a big blow. And Texas now, they hung on. They got the win at the end. But, that's 3 straight weeks where we blew leads, and that's not a championship caliber team if you're going to give away leads like that. That's the old Texas right there. So hopefully they're able to, correct their mistakes, correct their wrongdoings. Regardless on how it is, they won the game. They're 9-1. Their only slip up was Oklahoma, where they barely lost that game. So their resume still looks very good. They got to continue to win these games and control their own destiny. But, they'll play Iowa State next week, and Iowa State's already talking that trash on Twitter. I seen a video about it. And, so Byron Murphy, Tavondre Sweat, they're going to, do their best against that Iowa State offensive line. But after Iowa State, they got Texas Tech. So we'll see what's in store for Texas. Alabama defeats Kentucky 49-21. Jalen Moreau shines at Bama. They remain red hot down the stretch of the season. They clinched the SEC title game with this win, and they'll play Georgia in the conference championship week. So, I wouldn't want to play Alabama right now. They're red hot. Jalen Moreau looks comfortable. That's a good team right there. And, Kentucky I thought was a pretty good team in the SEC, but Alabama kind of just ran away with it. So, go for the Crimson Tide right there. The most important part about this is they'll play Georgia in the conference championship game, and Georgia's rolling as well. That's going to be a phenomenal game, Georgia versus Bama. I'm really anticipating that SEC championship game for sure. Missouri defeats Tennessee 36-7. Missouri dominated the Volunteers, and Tennessee takes on Georgia next week at home. So hopefully Tennessee's able to take a crack at the top dogs, team that's not lost in the last 2 seasons. That would be some pretty crazy stuff. It's at Neyland Stadium, so if the Volunteers beat Georgia at Neyland, they will take their goalposts down again, and they will put that in the river, just like they did with the Bama win last year. So we'll see what's going on there. Shout out to Missouri for having a nice win. That's a program that remains pretty good. They've had a really good season. Yeah, I'm very excited to see what the future holds for them. UCF upsets Oklahoma 45 or Oklahoma State. Yeah, UCF upsets Oklahoma State 45-3. UCF dominated Oklahoma State, bringing them to 3 losses on the year. Texas is at the top of the Big 12 now with 1 conference loss, as the rest of the conference is fighting for that conference title game appearance. So from here on out, as long as Texas continues to win the games, they got 2 more left down the stretch, then Texas will be in the Big 12 championship, and everybody else is fighting for it. Big 12 is still wide open, and it's anybody's for the taking, really. LSU defeats Florida 52-35. Quarterback Jaden Daniels shined in his performance, 372 passing yards with 234 on the ground with 5 total touchdowns on the game. At this point, he has to be top for a Heisman contention despite the losses LSU has suffered this season. And I like Jaden Daniels' game a lot, and I think he should be at the top of the Heisman count for right now. We're quickly approaching rivalry week, conference championship week, and then it's bowl season. Lots of great football ahead, and we're going to be able to break it down when it happens. So in the meantime, y'all stay tuned in that college football. We're going to have another sponsorship. Shout out to 4K the Barber. Shout out to High Jump Party Rentals and 4K the Barber. High quality party bounces and party packages available along with an up-and-coming barber service. You can reach out to either or at 210-438-3366. That's 210-438-3366. And Chris and Erica will take care of y'all. If you need a haircut or you need a party bounce, they're your people. You can hit up Chris Need for a haircut or a party bounce, and they will take care of y'all with A+ hospitality. The cooler weather is here. It's approaching. Thanksgiving is next week. And why don't you rent a bounce or some party supplies and make your Thanksgiving party the best Thanksgiving party in the neighborhood, And if you need a haircut before Thanksgiving, you can hit up Chris Need. He's going to be cutting late next week, and he's going to leave you 100% satisfied. He never lets me down. He did me right with this mustache trim up the other day. And if you're in the San Antonio area, you can get at both of them today. We're going to move on to some NBA basketball, and some unfortunate news had hit us last week as Philadelphia 76ers forward Kelly Oubre Jr. was in a car accident. Now, Kelly Oubre Jr. was a pedestrian struck by a motor vehicle in Philadelphia last week. He suffered broken ribs and an assortment of cuts and bruises across his body as a result of the car accident. Oubre also has injuries to his hip and right leg. Some positive news on the situation was he was seen in the 76ers facility today, and he rode the exercise bike for a little bit, according to head coach Nick Nurse. Now, we're wishing a fast recovery and good wishes to Kelly Oubre Jr., who is having a good start to the season. And I can confirm that Kelly Oubre Jr., he was one of my favorite players of the season so far. He was having a great start to the year with the 76ers, but unfortunately, he's facing a tragedy like this. So speedy recovery for him. I hope he gets better. And we're going to move on to the James Harden trade update. The Los Angeles Clippers, we're going to talk about them first. The James Harden and the Los Angeles Clippers have been in a slump ever since they traded with the 76ers. They're still trying to adjust with the new styles of play and chemistry between their new lineup of Westbrook at the 1, Harden at the 2, Paul George at the 3, Kawhi Leonard at the 4, and Ivica Zubac at the 5. And with Miles Plumlee hurt, the 76ers are really lacking size. Did I say Miles? Miles or Mason? It's one of those. I'm sorry. I think they got to, look to acquire a big that can effectively play defense in the interior. They gotta get more size on that team. I think that's what they're really lacking right now in the stretch where they're losing a lot of games. And as for the chemistry, I think they're going to give them a few more games to see if they can, get better and get more comfortable with each other. But, they're losing to teams who are less talented than them. So this whole situation is something to keep your eye on. You would think you'd give them more than 10 games before you really decide if this trade is a dub or an L, but it's not looking good as of right now. But for the Philadelphia 76ers, since the Harden trade, the 76ers have continued their strong start to the season. Tyrese Maxey is coming off a career-high 50-point game against the Indiana Pacers. And they look good. Maxey's emerging as an all-star candidate, and it's fun to watch. Robert Covington receives regular minutes in the rotation, and Nicholas Batum as well. I think this was a job well done, and if they decide they want to be a team that's looking to add another star, Zach LaVine is looking for a new home as the Bulls are listening to offers from teams for their star shooting guards. So that's also something to keep an eye on. And we're going to have another sponsorship shout out to Clutterbug Organizing. Are you tired of feeling overwhelmed in your own home? Is it a struggle to maintain any sense of order in your life? Well, Clutterbug Organizing by Jamie can help you organize with small, manageable steps that will make a big difference in your daily life. You can check out their socials link below and book a consultation by filling out the interest form on their website. You can get 10% off your first package by putting the Just in Time podcast in the message box. That's 10% off, y'all, just by filling out the interest form. And by doing that, you can, further book a consultation. She'll get you right. Jamie did my room. She made it very organized, and you can see her work from then. I was the very first client, and she did a phenomenal job. If you look at her recent work, she has been killing it, y'all. I'm going to link her interest form, her Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and her website where you can do all that fun stuff. So, yeah, reach out to Clutterbug Organizing by Jamie, and she's going to do you right. And we're going to end this video off with some NFL football. We're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills falling to the Denver Broncos 24-22. Josh Allen and the Bills lost to the Broncos on Monday Night Football, and there was a flag thrown on the final play of the game where an extra player was on the field. This meant Broncos had another chance at the field goal, and they nailed it, upsetting the Bills 24-22. And the Buffalo Bills fall to 5-5 on the season with their upcoming schedule. Is looking very scary. They play versus the Jets next week. Then you got at the Eagles. Then you have at the Chiefs. Then you play the Cowboys at home. Then you go to LA to play the Chargers. Then you got the Patriots at home. And then you go to Miami to play the Dolphins. I don't know if the Bills are going to look strong after the stretch of games. They just fired their offensive coordinator, and they named Joe Brady the interim offensive coordinator. Now, Joe Brady is known for success as offensive coordinator / pass game coordinator at LSU during Joe Burrow and that national championship team with Jefferson and Chase as a wide receiver tandem. The Buffalo Bills making the playoffs, that's something to keep an eye on. But for real, kind of disappointing how they played so far in this regular season. So we'll see if they're going to turn it around. I'm going to end this video off with a question that y'all can answer in the comment section. If you're still here up to this point of the video, please like, subscribe, and, take a family's, tell a family member to subscribe as well. It's free. It's not going to do nothing. And yeah, click that subscribe button, and then you're done. You won't have to pay nothing. You won't receive notifications for anything unless you want to receive notifications for these videos and posts. So I would really appreciate it. But the question I have for y'all is, who do you think Texas A&M should target as their new head coach? Y'all let me know in the comment section. Other than that, that's going to be a wrap for today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Episode 20 is concluded. Lots of sports going on, so stay tuned for more episodes ahead. I hope everybody has a good week. Thank you for rocking with me for 20 episodes. I feel like I'm only getting better at this, and I'm getting more comfortable as I'm going along. So I appreciate it. Episode 21 coming soon. Y'all stay tuned. Peace.